Time now to introduce our guest for today's podcast. We have decided to go inside the inner sanctum and go into the coaching staff. Now, this is a man who's in his fourth season as an assistant coach at the Perth Wildcats, all the way from California, and has had a little bit of other coaching in the United States. Noticed a little bit of work with the Utah Jazz, which is very exciting. This man is always energetic on the sideline. It's very fun to watch him on game nights. He's very, very excited. And I'm stoked that he's with us. Keegan Crawford is joining us, the assistant coach of the Perth Wildcats. G'day, Keegan.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
No worries.
Hey, to the mic. Come on.
Yeah, sorry, man.
That's okay. Welcome. Fourth season, as I said, with the Wildcats. What was the initial phone call to come along and come to the Perth Wildcats and take the challenge on?
Yeah, it was a while ago now. I was pretty lucky to be like a video coordinator and an intern for my 2 years before becoming a full-time member of the staff. So as a lot of coaches in Australia do, working multiple jobs, doing a lot of different things. And Jacob Chance, Adam Ford, Nelly, Trev, those guys had me come along and do some video coordinator, intern stuff. Did that for 2 seasons and made it work as a full-time assistant coach now.
So when did you know you wanted to pursue coaching?
I was a very below average player, so that kind of made my mind up early. But playing like the junior stuff here in Perth, where everyone does, when I was in under 18s, I had a super minor knee injury, which was going to take me out for a month. Pep's laughing at me. He knows what those are like. It was his turning circle over there. But, I was at the stadium every day anyway. So my coach at the time was our coaching director and needed someone to coach an under 11s team and put me up for it. And it sounds so weird, but after coaching that one tournament, I knew I just liked that more than playing straight away. And that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, awesome. Did your coach influence the way your coaching style is now? Do you think like that first coach, or
I think every coach is a product of like who they've been around. Like you take things from everyone, like players, you watch your favorite players and you take moves and the ways you go about it. But
that's so true.
Yeah, I think I'm a amalgamation of all the great different coaches I've been lucky enough to be around.
None of them say no middies though, I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh, a lot of them say no middies. That's something we got to bring onto the podcast. We got to speak it into existence. Elijah Pepper shot selection. We got to improve that. Take the mid-range out of his game.
It's the most efficient
that's what
shot
Ryan
I have.
says.
Yeah.
Mid-range. I go for the mid-range.
Yeah, see, thank you. Points
I
per
reckon
possession,
it's
right?
actually probably the
maybe
most
we can
open.
learn something from them. They're kicking our ass on the schedule this year, so maybe we can take something from them.
Career highlights to date, not obviously not necessarily playing, but your
Whoa. What do you mean?
Taking a
you
stab.
said you gave it up pretty early, so you can throw in playing highlights, but career highlights, assuming potentially of your coaching career as well. What's your personal favorite or highlight?
Yeah, I've been really lucky to be in like a lot of great positions with a bunch of different teams. I think a couple that stick out. I've been a part of 2 under 19 Australian staffs with the Gems, winning a silver medal my first time. Played against Caitlin Clark's USA team. They were the team that beat us in the gold medal game. Some stuff with, SBL here, won a title, head coaching there. And then my first year as an intern with the Wildcats, we actually won the NBL championship, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. What year did you do the Gems coaching?
So the last 2 cycles have been a part
Oh,
of.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I was a gym, but that was back in 2019.
Yeah, probably missed your time, unfortunately.
Damn it. Okay, you had time at the Perth Lynx as assistant coach under Ryan Patrick. Do you still keep a close eye on the Lynx?
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan was the guy that got me my first kind of shot in coaching, like at an adult level, outside of junior. So I was really lucky to be an assistant coach for him at the Lynx when the BWA bought the Lynx back. So I've got a lot of good friends that are in the league and in the team that I keep track on all the time. And you guys are killing it, which is great to see. And see the success of some of my friends like Chiba and Taya Burrows, Mackenzie, all those kind of guys that are killing it right now.
Oh, so good.
Fourth season as an assistant. How much would you say you've grown during that time? Obviously, I've only known you for this season, so I kind of know what to expect of you now. But like, what's different and how have you changed from your first to second to third year coaching and into now?
I think I've changed a lot, to be honest with you. Like, super young coach too, so I think I always kind of have to change and learn and pick things up. But I've been really lucky in my time with the Wildcats to work for 3 great head coaches already. So Trev, Scott Morrison, and now JR. So I think you pick up little things from everyone and kind of build it to what your style of play is like.
Pretty decent.
Wow. What does a normal week look like in season as an assistant coach?
I don't actually do anything. I just watch Elijah Pepper highlights the entire week.
Dude,
that
have the
makes
What an
YouTube.
unbelievable
I
week.
knew that's why you have my name in your search history so much,
all
huh?
the time. Yeah, it's just how I get to sleep every night, just how I get through the week. But
Elijah Pepper
Except
makes
for
you
those
fall asleep.
mid-ranges.
watching him play defense makes me fall asleep
Oh,
at times.
Yeah, all right, calm down.
No, our weeks change a little bit based on like the schedule and who we play, but most of the time we'll have weights in the morning. Coaching staff gets in a little earlier, help plan practice, put some of the film edits together, go through our player development stuff, practice, shoot afterwards. Guys like Pep have their routine that they get through all the time, and then you're in the office cutting more film up every single day.
Yeah, it's a lot of film, right? I
yeah.
always hear assistant coach doing the grinding, and then we
Underestimated how
look
much
at
film
it.
you do.
It is, yeah.
Nobody thinks a coach does that much film until you really.
Yeah, you're in it.
How did scouting duties broken up? I actually don't even know. Like, I know you guys have certain teams that you do, but do you like just flip a coin at the beginning of the year and decide who gets to do what?
So it was a little tactical last year because we had a brand new staff. I was the only kind of carryover from the previous staff. So we kind of divided it based on who we were most familiar with. So Jared and Aaron both have programs that they've kind of been around before. So we divvied it up. We all have 3 scouts each, and we wanted to keep all that knowledge the same this year. So we just copy and pasted it and transferred it over.
Tell us a little bit about your NBA Summer League experience at the Utah Jazz. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. My first, well, second technically head coach I work for, Scott Morrison. He's an assistant coach with the Jazz now.
Yeah.
So he was able to kind of get me in the door as a guest coach, which is really just to be there to learn, to rebound, and watch and ask questions. So that was my role at Summer League, and got to go to Salt Lake City and do that for their training camp, and then go to Vegas for Summer League and just kind of pick a whole bunch of things up from great basketball minds.
Yeah, that's awesome. Fun fact, I visited Utah, the college, and the first NBA game, they took me to the Utah Jazz. So
Let's go.
yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Did they win?
They did, yeah, because I fell asleep at halftime because of jet lag. I was trying to say win, and I was like, woke up, I was like, we won!
you go.
Unbelievable. But it was very entertaining. What did you learn from that experience, like over in the NBA?
Oh man, a lot. I think it was cool to see, like, obviously the resources they have are incredible. Like the amount of stuff that's put into their facility that we're kind of plugging away on our end with that sort of stuff too. But just the way that their coaches interact with the players pre and post practice is really similar to what we do.
Yeah.
But just taking away a couple little things about being more efficient with some workouts, like being more specific with like footwork and different things you're working on, as opposed to like just shooting.
Yeah.
Because
true.
everyone can kind of do that, but what's your real purpose and what you're trying to get out of in that 10 to 12 minute block? It doesn't need to be an hour.
Yeah.
What's the one little thing you're trying to get better at?
Yeah, so good.
Pretty nice. I'm assuming I know the answer to this, but do you have ambitions to be a head coach at some point in your career?
Yeah, I do. I definitely want to be a head coach at some point, but I do think a trap that like a lot of young coaches fall into is just trying to like climb a ladder all the time. So I'm really grateful for the job I have and the role I have now. So just trying to do the best at that, and kind of whatever happens. But that is a goal of mine. Yes,
You're still young.
for sure.
Kind of young.
Oh,
Kind of young.
Whoa, another step.
Am I allowed to ask your age on the podcast?
gosh, I'm 28, man.
Oh, you're only 28?
Oh, yeah, you're killing the
Two.
game.
Of course he's young.
I mean, you gave me the short chair just to make me look shorter than all of you guys, but you know.
It actually has a thing on the bottom. You can just move it up.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So what's the one thing when you're watching like a young player coming through, what's the one thing you love to see from a player?
Good question. There's like a bunch of things, but if I had to narrow it down to one, it's just confidence, which is something, if we're putting Pep in the young category or not, but that's something that he has. But
I'm a rookie.
I think you are a rookie.
Go by experience
That
here.
is
I'm a
true.
young guy.
That is true. You are a young guy, but you guys brought it up earlier, like the example of Dante making 2 threes on the weekend. Like, it doesn't have to be purely through scoring, but when someone's like, this is my skill set, this is what I do, and success or failure, get out on the floor and just give something a go.
And what's the one thing you ask most of from the leaders of the club?
The leaders in terms of like staff, players, like what are we
Players.
talking? I just think to over communicate. Like every program that I've been a part of, like every staff I've been on, like at some point there's always a complaint about they don't talk to each other or we don't talk, and I think that can be driven culturally from your staff and your group, but I think no one's had too many problems from over talking.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's something that when stuff is in dark days or you're struggling a little bit, like just communicating your way out of problems is a big one.
Yeah, interested to hear what if you had to describe your coaching philosophy, what would it be?
Let's start to Pep. What would,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, players view.
Wait, what?
Oh,
So
I thought you.
he's
I
not
thought
even listening.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
how
no, no.
engaged
Time out.
this guy is.
Focused on the
I
tennis
thought you
game
meant
going
no,
on
no, no. I
Bryce.
wasn't looking at that. I thought you meant throw it to Peppers and just my philosophy is give the ball to Pep and get out of the way.
oh.
Come on.
Look, that's not my philosophy. to be honest with you.
I thought that was your
Describe
philosophy.
his philosophy.
He was
My
pointing to
philosophy
himself.
is as many middies as possible.
Yeah, that ain't it. That ain't it, my man. Seeing as Pep was really engaged, I'll answer that one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my-
Back to the original question.
no, I think to be honest, it's still developing. Like I have, when you think about like an offensive and defensive system, like things that I like and I would want to do if I was in charge of a program of a team. But in terms of like overarching things, like I like to be approachable. I really like to keep things light.
Yeah.
Like when we get on the floor, I can be a little more aggressive and get after it. But I want guys to know that there's a care factor and we want them to be there and I want to be around the guys.
Yeah.
But then I would also say I follow it up with being highly detailed in my
Yeah.
communication and what I am responsible for.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like the point of like keeping it light too, because I think it's super important. Since you do it, like us players do it every day, and you guys as well. You want to make it enjoyable, right? You want everyone coming there, having fun, putting the best foot forward, and then repeating it the next day. So yeah, that's awesome.
I will say I do think that's something that you guys and like Jared and Aaron all do really well is like you actually care. And I think that gets a buy-in out of guys a lot better than if it was like, if you're not doing your job on the court, we don't give a shit about you.
But I don't think you can do that without a level of care too, though. Like,
Yeah.
if we were just on your ass day one and there wasn't like a building of relationships, then like that can butt heads pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
it's got to go both ways with
Yeah.
that stuff.
Like when I was coming out of college, I was always told like, it's a business. It's like coaches might not necessarily like you might not have that relationship you had with guys in college. And I think that's something where that necessarily wasn't true. I like, at least in my experience, I have a good relationship with all three of you guys. And I think that's something that helps build a lot of trust on the court as well. And I think that's really important. You do a good job of that.
Hey, thanks, man.
Compliments.
Only compliment I'm getting all year.
You're pulling it out of JR's book right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Give you a compliment once in a blue moon.
Oh, we're still testy about that. I like it.
Didn't realize this was going to be a love-in, guys. Davis. I mean, I'm happy with it, but still, I didn't think it was going to be the case. When you've got someone of the ilk of Bryce Cotton in the team, obviously everyone goes, just pass the ball to Bryce, pass the ball to Bryce, pass the ball to Bryce. How has his influence been on you as a coach in terms of what you might have learned from him? Because you've been in the system for 4 years. He's been there the whole time as well.
Yeah.
What have you learned from him?
Oh, I've learned a bunch, and I'm sure Pep can attest to it. But like, I get after Bryce as much as I get after Pep and a couple other guys. But I think when you have, vets and experienced players, like I would treat him from a communication way the same you treat a rookie. Like everything's got to be two-way street. You got to communicate with him. You got to make him feel that it comes from like a place of love when you have a relationship with a guy. But looking at Bryce specifically with his skill set, I think the biggest things I've started to take away from it is just how unselfish he is. And then when you're, trying to coach against him at practice or game planning, understanding what you're going to live with. Because you can't necessarily just take away everything he does, but how are you scheming? How are you doing things to kind of mitigate what he does? And then hopefully just try and shift what they want to do.
Now, when you're first starting out, was it daunting trying to boss around someone like a Jesse Wagstaff who's been in the club for such a long time?
I wouldn't say boss around because it's just not the style of how I like to
Tell
go
him what to
about
do.
it. But
Tell him what to do.
my first couple like practices, I mean, I was lucky because I was an intern. So like I build a relationship with these guys before I have like real responsibility to get out there on the floor. But I think, once you get some reps of it, you kind of sink or swim. And I think it comes pretty naturally.
Yeah, cool.
You are a very bossy person.
Yeah. There we go. Now we're getting the truth.
Well, there's the coaching philosophy, bossy. Your thoughts on the Wildcats season so far and how the team is placed for the business end of NBL 2025?
It's been enjoyable. Like every time you have a campaign with the quality of people that we put together, it's fun. But I would say the theme for me is probably just consistency with our roster, with the guys that we have on the floor through injury, but then just the effort and style of play. Like not that we play with low effort at times, but I think when we encounter problems, like the ability to create some solutions through different means has been a little slow to respond at times. So, but when we get our full roster and when we've had those patches and put that together, like we're a tough team.
Yeah.
So just trying to build to that a little more consistently.
Yeah,
That's something that Pep's mentioned a few times is that the fact that you haven't had the chance to have a full team on court for a lot of games so far this season. I think that's been underrated in terms of how the Wildcats have been able to play this season, not being able to have that consistency on court of the same team over and over and over again, yet to still find yourself just a couple of wins from top spot.
Yeah, for sure. But I would say that never happens, though. Like, in any good team, goes through patches like that, and every team in the league could sit on a podcast right now and say, if we only had this guy or that guy was out. So, we don't ever want to use injuries or things as an excuse, but it's an opportunity. Like, when guys step out, and like I was watching our second Tassie game this morning, like Pep started. Like, we have no Ty, we have no Bryce, and we are really confident with our depth that we have guys that can step in to multiple roles, and we can complain about it and go, oh, we just need to get healthy. But if this is the hands that we're dealt, like, how do we get better? How do we win games? That's all that matters. We're all looking at you. What's the answer?
Oh, sorry, that was just a deep insight. I liked it. Do you ever want to coach with the Boomers at some point?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to do some video and advanced scouting stuff for them a little bit, and my time with some junior national teams, and I definitely, it's a long-term goal of mine to be on a national team staff for sure.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we hope that happens. Should we open up the Instagram? Let's.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
We mentioned that we opened up to Perth Wildcats on Instagram. Any questions that wanted to be asked of Keegan Crawford, and with our guests in the lead up to the next recordings, we'll be doing the same. So make sure you follow the Perth Wildcats on Instagram. At the moment, Elijah and Mila are scheming which questions are going to get asked.
Burner account.
I did think about that. I was like, there'll be a couple of Wildcats who are just creating other accounts.
There's a couple softballs in there, I hope, as well.
I wouldn't bank on that, Keegan, especially with these two looking at the questions.
Not ideal.
All right, come on. Pick a couple. Oh, you really are scheming, you two.
Yeah. Start with the casual one, but what's the best part about being a part of the Wildcats?
I mean, the best part is being able to call basketball your full-time job.
Yeah, I
an
relate.
Incredibly lucky, privileged position to do that and get to wear shorts and runners to work every day. Like, it's unreal.
Shoot through hoops if you
Yeah,
want.
100%.
Somebody says, "What's the?" Oh wait, wrong one. Sorry.
That was you.
What is the? Yeah. Why is your hair red?
Yeah, it took half an hour to get that down. That's insane.
No, it's coming up in a little bit. Don't
here
worry.
we go.
What's an assistant coach's role on game day?
Yeah, good one. It changes in every program, and ultimately it changes depending on like who your head coach is. For us, we get in early. We make sure we're the first ones there, so we can help the players with all their shooting groups and pregame routines. We run the warm up. If we do any film pregame, we make sure that that's queued up and ready to go. And then on game day, like for us, we all have kind of areas that we're overseeing, and those are the feedback and suggestions we give JR in huddles and timeouts.
What's your area?
Myself, you can't tell. That's alarming.
I'm just asking. This is for everybody else.
Yeah, okay. So myself and Jared Martin, we share a lot of the defensive responsibilities. So when it comes to making adjustments and doing different things there. But the other part is all three of us have scouts. So when it's your specific scout, you're more looking at play calls and different things that those guys are doing. Yeah, and making adjustments based on that stuff.
Yeah. What's it like coaching the Wildcats Academy?
Yeah, that's unreal. That's one of the coolest parts about my job. Really privileged. I've been able to do it since I've kind of started here, even 6 years ago as an intern, been involved in that too. But now it's kind of my baby, and we've rebranded the program a little bit with support of Rio Tinto. Like what they've been able to do resource-wise for our program is incredible. So in our off-season, we have all these talented teens from WA, age 14 to 19, that practice 2 mornings a week. They get up early. They get weight room sessions in, and we're building to where we want to play some NBL1 teams this year. So exciting stuff,
cool.
hopefully happening in that space.
Yeah, awesome. I had a follow-up question too. Someone asking who your favorite academy grad is.
Oh, okay.
So, but there's that question.
Oh, that's a good one. We've had a couple from this kind of new wave of kids in the last 2 years. I would say I love it when young Josh from Willow comes back in the program, and he was practicing a little bit with us in preseason this year, but all of those guys have been incredible. Like it's cool to see, dudes that may not have had the resources or ability to high-level coaching to kind of come in through that program because it's completely free. And we have so many kids that have gone off to prep school and college this year that it's going to be really exciting to follow what they do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is a pretty good one. As someone who just finished school and is starting their coaching career, what's one piece of advice you can give?
Do not expect to get paid. That is the best piece of advice I can give you. Like, especially when you're starting, like you gotta grind. Like you have to put yourself in as many rooms and opportunities to just like work and learn from people. Like if you go, hey, I want to be a coach, this is the salary. Like, nah, you're out of it. Like it's a reward for putting in all the work that you do over a longer period of time, but you got to get good at the craft. You got to learn, you got to take some hits, and then hopefully you can get rewarded financially at some point.
When did you get your first pay packet as being an assistant coach?
I was really lucky that when I was kind of putting myself through uni doing some odd jobs, I got an opportunity to work at Basketball WA, which wasn't necessarily like a basketball team, but it's working in sport. But the first time I could probably just rely off an income from a team was my 4 years ago, my first time being employed by the Wildcats.
There you go.
While we wait for Mila, I think we got some intel on Mila this week.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You have a good story, I heard.
No, just doing a little bit
me?
of my own research for the podcast.
What?
Figuring some things out.
Hang on, whoa. Please bring it forward. Let's
Yeah,
go.
what?
Let's go.
Talk to me about flying.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. Damn it. Well, actually, I've never had an issue until I moved to Perth. It's very windy, so the takeoff and landings are wild. Once I go on that, I take off the autopilot. I don't know what happens.
Heard a
But
little
What'd you
story
hear?
of
It's a bit crazy.
having a bathroom trip mid-flight, and then a little bit of turbulence, having to crawl down the aisle to get back to our seats, something like that.
okay. No, it's pretty drastic. It's actually dropping, so I was like, stay low to the ground. And get to my seat. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. That was last year. I've kind of chosen peace this year, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. It also sucks being in Perth. We have the longest road trip, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's really good. Really good for the mind game. You know what I mean?
Mental, got to develop that
Wait, who
mental
told
strength.
you this?
I got some link sources still inside the organization.
I got my eye on you, whoever you are.
You got a
Even though I
rat.
don't know who you are.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing about the next trip when you head to Adelaide this weekend. But anyway.
Who's your favorite NBA team or NBA player?
I love watching the Jazz, obviously.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
Their
Makes
record,
sense.
we have mutual love of the Jazz right now, but their record's not where they want it to be. But when you get to go see an organization and the coaches and players, like it's just cool to watch like guys who've been around. From an individual player perspective, it's tough. I don't know if I necessarily have like a player. I really like watching Jalen Brunson play.
Yeah.
He's a guy. Oh, the rolled eyes from Pep. I just like watching
you were gonna pick him.
small guards because
Yeah.
we have a lot of Aussie guards that struggle when they go up a level, whether it's nationals or junior Oz team or pro, and like learning how to play small.
Yeah.
And he just does such a great example of that.
Yeah, I relate.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of mid ranges that he shoots, though.
A lot of paint shots,
Yeah,
though, Pep.
interesting.
A lot of paint shots. We have this debate every day. It's a big difference.
You got to specify where the paint shots are, because like if I get to a free throw
Yeah,
line,
it's called the paint.
yeah, no, don't be like that. Because there's been times where I shot like a free throw line jumper, and you're like, oh, that's still a paint shot.
If it,
My
go,
feet-
if it
my
goes
feet
in, it's a
weren't-
paint shot.
Yeah,
That's how it
exactly.
works,
If I miss it, it's a mid range.
yeah, 100%.
So what is the deal? Why would you say don't shoot mid range or limit your mid range shots? What's the
Analytic.
behind?
Hey, your coach is the one that really started this train.
This
but
is true. This is
not
true.
not the analytics train, but my thinking of it. Look, we joke around about it a little bit, and I get on Pep and BC specifically for it. It's just I just want guys to take the shots that they're most efficient at.
Yeah.
It's not so much that the mid range is a bad shot. It's just a lower, points per possession shot than what a lot of guys are capable of. Like Pep, who's an unreal 3-point shooter when he can get going and get to his spots. Like him taking those are better for us than when he can take some contested mid ranges early in the clock.
Yeah.
Things we're trying to work on a little bit over here.
Now that makes sense. Yeah, Patrick talks about. So Ryan. Wasn't by his last name. Random. Yeah, he talks about it's also like harder to rebound too. Like you can't fully tell where it's going. But yeah, I do like a couple of mid ranges here and
we
there.
have
I'm with
debates
Pep on
all the
this
time.
one.
I'll take what's given to me.
We have debates all the time. That's a pro college player transition mindset right there. But yeah, at the end of the game though, like everything changes all the time. Like,
Yeah.
when there's one possession left, like if it's a tied game or you need a win, like shoot the shot that you make at a higher
Yeah.
percentage. Like when you look at it
For sure.
over the long scheme of things, then yeah, like threes may be a little more favorable if you're better at them.
Yeah.
But everyone is different and everyone's license has to be different.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
statement.
fair.
All right, let's fly through a couple more.
I got two of them, and then she can do the last one. What player is the most fun to coach, and who's the funniest on the team?
But for both, if I had to rank them, Elijah Pepper's 15 at the bottom for all of those.
I was like, I feel like I was
Nah,
hoping for
nah.
a name drop.
That's harsh.
I don't know. Funniest on the team is sneakily do. Sneakily do. Like he's quiet, but like when you get to know him,
Oklahoma humor.
yeah, the Oklahoma humor, the inside jokes are interesting. I really think Todd brings such an awesome vibe to practice every day. Like, he's great to be around. He's good for our program, but in different contexts, all those guys could be number one for sure. It's that you're 15. That's where
That's fair.
Yeah,
A lot of room to improve.
yeah. That's the only way up, right?
Exactly.
You got the second one?
Oh, that was a 2-and-1er, but somebody you have coached, I believe, is Taya.
Yep.
She says, how does it feel to be the second best? Is it Ranga in WA?
This is
Second best
this is
runner.
the true hitting podcast stuff. We're getting different names for Ginger in here. This is great.
I'm just reading what was said. I'm sorry if that offends other gingers.
Nice from Taya.
Well, she's wrong, first and foremost. She's number one. That's just factually incorrect.
That's it?
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
answer.
This is just incorrect. And last one, someone said, Bryce Cotton needs a statue, yes or no? My answer is yes, because he is the GOAT. Do you agree?
So we're workshopping this idea. Like, I think he can get a statue as long as it's with Pep and they're on their phones looking at Malaysian ice hockey betting. Like, that's where the statue needs to go.
Bryce likes the Chinese baseball.
Yeah. No, this is where you get the
Or
insights.
Japanese baseball, excuse me.
Oh yeah, you got to get that one right.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Highly
Come on, wrong
competitive
name.
sports over there. But
Yeah, where would you put it? Are we putting it in the city centre?
I think it's more of a
in
snow
front
globe,
Yeah,
that we
okay.
put on a desk. I think that's the
okay.
monument we need.
Nice, and just shake it whenever you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crack it if you really
It's
want.
like one of those little 8 balls when you need to, do I bet on this?
This has to be the Secret Santa present next year. Let's go.
Odds point to yes. It only has yes.
This
Well,
is not a good idea.
There's a new merchandise run that's happening for 2025, and we look forward to it. Hey, Keegan, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Perth Wildcast. Great to get your insight into getting into coaching, how the team's going, and just, your by-play with Pep is great fun as well. So really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Keegan.
Crawford, the assistant coach of the Perth Wildcats, joining us on the Perth Wildcast. And what we've learnt from today's episode is that we got a live psychoanalyst of Pep or Peppermint.
Of what? Wait, what?
We got a full psychoanalysis on you today
Oh, yeah.
from your assistant coach.
It was just more demeaning. to be quite honest.
Ah.
But you took it well.
Thank you.
That's what's important.
Yeah, it was all
I am
mental
known well for
test.
taking criticism. So
Somehow I don't believe that.
I deal with criticism every day.
Okay, fair enough. We are into a brand new year, 2025. I'm not the sort of person that usually does them, but do we get into the New Year's resolutions and things like that?
Yes.
And we chatted about it
I'm all
before.
down for
We
it.
didn't really do much of it. I didn't.
Well, you did it.
I have
but Neela
ideas.
did it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was
You wrote 'em
like,
down?
come on.
I feel like
Yeah.
Neil's the sort of person that would be sort of quite into the resolution sort of game.
Do like a resolution
You know
poster
me
board?
too well now. Yeah, I'd say probably more goals than like I'd call resolutions.
Have you got
but
them
I
like
guess
on,
the
on the
same.
notes app in your phone?
No, but I write down in a book.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
no, I
Okay.
tick them off after each year. So I got to go tick off my 2024. Hopefully a lot of ticks. But yeah, no, I like to write down. Kind of get your mind set for another year, and what you want to, what your goals are, and how you're going to get there, and your little steps you can do each day to get them. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind's at. But yeah, happy 2025.
Indeed. And Pep, what's the goal? Come on, what's the goal for 2025?
Oh gosh, I one of mine was like it's not a big deal, but drink a lot more water. That's
Oh, actually, same. Yeah.
Good man. That's
yeah.
good.
So I got a big liter thing of water at home sitting in the fridge right now,
Nice.
ready to go.
It's at home and not here.
Yeah, I
Yeah, no, that's.
I have we have
problem.
Gatorade jugs. Drink a lot of water during practice.
Fair enough. It's a huge game coming up this Sunday up against the New Zealand Breakers. 11:30 a.m. start. It is live on 10 and ESPN. The big road trip over the Dutch, as they would say in New Zealand. Looking forward to that, and just a couple of weeks until the Wildcats return home to play a series of home games. The first of them coming up on the 17th of January. You can get tickets for that by going and searching wildcats.com.au. That's our podcast done. Well done, guys.
Yeah. Whoa.
Great
Heck
to
yeah.
be with you for the first couple of days of 2025.
Yeah. How
That's
good.
the best podcast all year, Keegan. Good job.
There you go. All we need.
Well done, Keegan. You can get this and all the other podcasts through the Listener app, LISTNR. We'll see you again next time.